Welcome. This is History 1122. This is the second half of Western civilization. In this opening discussion, I just want to give you a sense of the course, and I want to talk mainly about assignments. I know this is something that students are most interested in. Many students like to work ahead and like to have a real clear idea of what is expected of them over the course of the semester. So I want to go through these assignments today. First of all, it's obvious that this course is delivered via these short lectures. There's a number of them. They're about 10 minutes in duration on average, some a little more, some a little less, but 10 minutes is a good round number. So these are sort of bite-sized chunks of information that you can easily digest. Of course, you can look at them again and again if necessary to make your notes clear or to make the information clear in your head. So the course is delivered via lecture on it'll be on YouTube, and the course is managed through D2L. This is simply a course management system. Many of you are probably already aware and probably have experience with D2L. And that's where the grades will be posted. That's where your assignments and all your content for the course will be in D2L. So let's take a moment and talk about assignments. This course will have discussions, weekly discussions. There'll be a discussion question in D2L that all the students will have access to. And this question will center around course material, either lecture or perhaps readings or perhaps a combination of the two. And students are going to be required to submit a discussion post weekly in response to the question, and then one post in response to another student. So each week, every student will have two posts. Like I said, the first post in response to the discussion question of that week, and then one further post where you respond to another student, one of your peers. Now, I know initially, the first time I had to do this, I thought that discussion posts were sort of busy work, kind of annoying to have to take time to do this. But the more I did it, the more I realized that it was not busy work, that it was actually valuable. And I think you'll probably discover this as well as you get into this. What happens with these discussion posts is that you are, in order to comment on them and then to respond to your peers, you really have to engage this material. And the deeper you engage it, the more you learn about it. When you're forced to say something, when you're forced to make an argument, make an observation, you'll be surprised how your vanity will force you to think more deeply about it so that you sound lucid and intelligent in responding. And then when you look at your peers' post, you'll respond to one of them. And you want also here to sound engaged, to sound knowledgeable about whatever the topic is at hand. So discussion posts force you to dig deeper into the course materials and will force your brain to do a little extra work, which will help you prepare for the exams. So don't look at discussion posts as busy work. Look at them as ways of deepening your understanding in the course material. We will have in this course 6 what I call reflections. These are simply short essays, generally one page, double-spaced with a title. And by title, I mean a meaningful title, not a generic title. In other words, if we were going to read selections from Columbus's journal, you would not call your reflection Columbus's journal. That's not a good title. That's a generic title. Titles should point the reader to the author's attitude or a particular point of view, or it should give the reader some indication of what's to follow in the essay. So by a meaningful title, I'm looking for something that the reader will see and think to themselves, here's where we're going. Here's the point of view of the author. So these reflections, we have 6 of them. They're based on primary sources. So you're going to be asked to read at least 6 documents: Columbus's Journal, Martin Luther's 95 Theses, the Gettysburg Address, just on and on and on, just depending on the course. This is 1122, so we'll pull out 6 pertinent documents to this time period. And you will read them, and you will track a theme through them. Again, going back to Columbus's Journal, as an example, Columbus talks about the immense time spent at sea. The voyage seems to go on and on and on. He's constantly looking for signs of land. He keeps 2 logbooks with different numbers regarding the mileage or the leagues that the ships are making as they cross the Atlantic. He talks about God. He talks about gold. He describes the natives, the indigenous people of the Western Hemisphere. He talks about technology. He talks about the local flora and fauna when he reaches the Caribbean. So he talks about a lot of stuff, and Columbus is actually a fairly interesting person to read. So what you're going to do, again, as an example, is you're going to look through Columbus's Journal. Now, some of you may be able to read 2 pages and pull enough out of that to write a 1-page reflection. Some of you may need to read 5. Some of you may need to read 10 or 20 pages. It really depends upon your energy and your imagination, your engagement with the document. So when you read these primary sources, to make them come alive for you, you need to ask questions of them. What is the author's concern? Does he have friends? Does he have enemies? Who is the audience for this document? What is the purpose of the document? What does the document say about the author's personality, his biases? Just a variety of things. You have to, again, energy and imagination go a long way to writing a good reflection. And remember, these are quite short. These are 1-page, double-spaced, with a title. So a good reflection, like a good speech, will be sharply focused. A good reflection on Columbus's Journal, again, for instance, might track Columbus's observations of the natives, their clothing or their lack of clothing, their hair, their skin color, their innocence with regard to technology, their food, their organization, how their society works, their deities. You can see that you can quite easily build a 1-page reflection by tracking something in particular, tracking it through the journal, and using quotes from Columbus to make your argument. Not long quotes. You can't use long quotes in a one-page reflection, but you can use little snippets, little phrases, and incorporate them into your writing. And again, I'm always available, virtually available, and of course, my office is on the Cartersville campus, and I'm there quite often, so I'm pretty accessible. You can reach me. So again, there'll be 6 of these. They'll be spread across the semester, and these will give you a chance to do what historians do, and that is to read and interpret and then reflect upon primary sources. This is what professional historians do. So what I'm trying to do in this course is give you content, historical content, in addition to allowing you to practice the historical craft. So practice and content are key for the course. Now, we'll also have quizzes. Maybe 4, maybe 6. I haven't decided yet. These quizzes will precede the midterm, and then the rest of them will precede the final exam. And their purpose is to get you prepared for these exams. The quizzes will have questions on them exactly as you will see on the exams. So these are sort of practice exams. They'll be small. There'll only be probably 5 questions. And what I'll do is ask you to give me context, historical context, and historical significance for 5 items. And I'm going to take another whole lecture to talk about context and significance so you know what I'm talking about. But again, the quizzes will prepare you to succeed in the bigger exams to follow. And the midterm and the final are the other 2 assignments that you have. I usually do about 50 questions on each of these big exams. There'll be multiple choice. Again, they'll be in D2L, so you'll be able to do the exams and the quizzes in the D2L site, and D2L will grade them. So you'll see your grades posted very quickly, and you can see how you're doing. The grades for the discussion post and the reflections, I will do those. And I'm pretty good about getting things graded quickly. I try to stay on top of things, and I'll try to give you feedback on both reflections and discussion posts. There are places in D2L where I will give feedback to you, the student, regarding your efforts, your contributions, your submissions. So those are the assignments for the course. And like I said, we emphasize historical context and historical significance, and we emphasize both content and practice. So you can actually learn something about history, and you can actually do a little bit of what historians actually do, which is to read, interpret, and write about historical documents, primary sources. So I'm going to close there, and when we get back, we'll talk about context and significance, and we'll talk a little bit about the title of the course, Western Civilization, and try to interpret what these 2 words actually mean. All right, thank you.